Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, which I'm excited to say we're now airing 5 days a week. Once a week, you can still hear an interview with a different consciousness change maker that is out there working tirelessly to help catalyze change and expand awareness on Spaceship Earth. But now, in addition to the weekly interview, on the other 4 weekdays, you can tune in to myself and my co-host Dalien taking questions from the audience, covering a bit of positive news, giving interpretations of a favorite quote to ponder, and you can hear us ranting about whatever other positive ponderings come to mind on that day. All right, all you positive heads. What's up, Dalien?
Hi, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. They may not be listening to this on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Well,
this isn't live.
It's our Friday episode because we are releasing it on Friday.
That's true. We are recording and it's Friday.
Did you just call me out? Oh.
I think that was my first cuss word in a podcast. Oh, my God.
That's considered a cuss word too? Yeah.
I figured Sue Krebs could do it on yesterdays. If Sue can say shit, I can say ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she already sort of broke our... Yeah.
Popped our cherry, so to speak.
Exactly.
Okay, this is getting to be a slippery slope now. Once I start talking about popping cherries, it just keeps spiraling from there. So I need to pull myself out of the depths.
Well, you just said it would be a slippery slope. How slippery exactly are we talking?
Okay.
See?
All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the Positive Head Podcast. And today, what's going on with you, Dalien? Anything exciting?
Well, it is Friday, in spite of the fact that you may be listening to this on any old day of the week. That's got me excited. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend.
All it takes.
Yes.
That's all it takes. You're an easy man to please. I've got a good story that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. A story, you said?
I'm sorry. A story.
Is it? So is it time for our positive story?
No, not that. This is just a personal story.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Not the positive world story that you've somehow dug up, but just a personal story of something that I kind of came across. And I woke up this morning to a post, and it was from an ex-girlfriend's little sister. I won't use names or anything like that. Really sweet girl. I knew her, when she was 12, 13 years old. She's probably 25 or so now. And someone posted a picture of her online, another friend of hers, and had said, here she is 10 years ago, crazy times, as kids or whatever, if those walls could talk. Well, the girl that I know, the one who's in the picture, the ex's younger sister, responded to it. And she said, I remember this little girl. Do you? She had bright eyes and a bright future. She even had all her teeth, which gave her a big smile, or an illusion of happiness, as I once heard her call it. Have you seen her now, all growed up and nothing to show for it? That bright light that widened her eyes has now faded and jaded to a slit that strains to open. And the promising future only blossomed into hard times and broken promises to herself that wrinkled her face and dissolved her once pretty smile. She has no assets and no hope of attaining any. Her retribution so far away from her fingers, she's so positive she'll lose her minimal grasp on things sooner rather than later. Hell, she barely has a hold on anything as it is. Lost, sad, hopeless, untrusting, desperate, embarrassed, and full of regret and shame. She looks at this picture and says she sees no memory of what she was smiling about. She only sees the ignorance of a child who's still blinded from the truth of life. And that is simply that you have no control over this sorry excuse for living, for it's all in the illusion you project. But still, when you look back at the past, don't forget to remember this: perspective is reality. Then she put, this is what came out of my mind in the last 15 minutes after looking at this picture. So I want to talk a little bit about that. It was just, the picture is really cute of her. Just huge smile. She's a really sweet girl and obviously had, somewhat of a tumultuous journey. And, I actually I reached out to her. I haven't heard back. So maybe I asked her if she might even be willing to talk a little bit about this on the show, because I think this is something that so many people can relate to. And I applaud her, willingness to kind of just bare her heart and soul online like that. It's like, wow, a friend posted a picture of her and that's what she came back with. I'm this beaten, broken person. I don't know who this girl is that I once was. And I think, I can look at what's being said here and the story that's being told. And there may be truth in the story that it's been difficult and it's been hard and she's been broken. But what people don't realize, and it's something that, I just would love for her and anyone else listening who can relate to this feeling of looking back and saying, oh, wow, I remember that innocence of youth, that excitement of my youth when the whole world was ahead of me and I was so optimistic. And now what is life actually served up? Nothing but hardship and sadness and difficulty and, wrinkles and losing teeth and all these things, both physical and mental that kind of come at us. And the issue I have with this, or the reason from my perception that this sort of thing goes on, is if you listen to it, as she puts, you have no control over this sorry excuse for living. And then she goes on to say, for it's all in the illusion you project. And, I think that's closer to it. You do have so much more control than you realize. And that's the thing, is you get in these patterns, and I think we can all relate to it, where a bad thing happens, then another bad thing happens, then you expect a bad thing to happen, then more bad things happen. And next thing you know, all you can think is, I've got no control over my life. I can't influence anything. This is how life is. This is what life is. Life is hardship. Life is struggle. I have proof of it. I've seen it. But what people don't realize, as I talk about time and time and time again, is life is not happening to them, it's happening for them. And this is part of their journey, and they're actually the ones that are creating it with their vibration. Yes, something negative happened to you at one point in your journey, and then something else happened, and you're resonating with that bad thing happening. So what are you doing? You're drumming up the vibration of more of that. You're wading in the pool of that energy, right? You're thinking about it. You're feeling it. And then so more comes, and now you're getting really used to this, and you really are comfortable living in this vibration. And that's what's happening, people. That's what people just don't get, is she doesn't understand that it is an illusion you project. And guess what? You can project a totally different one. You can make something totally different start appearing. How do you do it? Stop telling the story of brokenness, sadness, hardship, pain, negativity. Stop drumming up the vibration of this, because that is the root of getting more of it. Yes, it happened to you. Great. Look at it. It's all about perspective. As you say at the end of this, perspective is reality. Take the perspective of, this happened for a reason. You created this for a reason. You are no victim. There's never been a victim. Your reality is a response to the vibration you've been offering, and own that. And it's beautiful in its own right. Take the perspective of, that's beautiful. I didn't know I was creating it by drumming up the vibration of more of this sort of thing. And beating the drum of more of this sort of thing, expecting more of this sort of thing. And just tomorrow, anyone who can relate to this, and so many of us can, I know I can, I've been here. And if you can just, and some people of course struggle with it way worse than others. I mean, for me, I've had the advantage of being this eternal optimist, being crazily optimistic. I'll be down about something and then snap out of it pretty quickly. But other people, struggle much more. And all I can say is, realize that you feeling the way you feel is what's creating more of what you don't want to see. And if you can start tomorrow with just making up a totally different feeling, for no reason at all, stop looking at what's happened or going to happen. The past doesn't exist. Show it to me. You can't prove it. The future never comes as you expect. The present is called a present for a reason. That's all you've got, the now. In this now, every moment is another chance to turn it all around. Make up a totally new story. Today, my only job is to manage my vibration. My only job is to drum up things to feel good about, to look for reasons to be radically grateful, radical gratitude. This is the doorway into the next thing you want to see. This is the doorway into creating what you want. Radical gratitude for what you've already created, for what is. See the beauty in it. Know that it will make it that much sweeter when you get there. The sweet's never quite as sweet without the sour. And so your job today, what is your job? Every one of our jobs, to manage your vibration. That's it. And guess what? Don't manage it based off what's happening external, because that's just a reflection of a vibration you've offered previously. So if you want to know what you'll see tomorrow, look at what you're feeling today and start drumming up the vibration of what you want to see more of. Be thankful for the food that's in your belly. Be thankful for the chair under your butt. Be thankful for the clothes on your back. Find things to be thankful for. Find things to be thankful for. Give love to other people. Give away what you want for yourself. These are the ways to change it and turn it all around. And if you can just be happy for these reasons, by choosing these reasons, by focusing on these types of things, then what you're going to find is all of a sudden reflections in your external world start reflecting back that vibration. All of a sudden you're swimming in a different frequency. All of a sudden things, whoa, I just got lucky. This random positive thing happened to me. Well, now you know why. You're creating it with your vibration. If you want to know what you'll see tomorrow, look at the vibration you're offering today. Quit reacting to what you've already created. That's a story that's gone by. It's beautiful in its own right. It's going to make it that much sweeter when you get to where you're going, but now get on with it. It's time to take ownership of you are the one happening to yourself. And yeah, that was quite a rant. I know. Sorry, guys.
No, you clearly needed to tell that story, huh?
Yeah.
I can see why now.
Well, and I'm emotionally charged in this case, because this is like, a little sister to me kind of figure, and I haven't seen her in years and years, but I've always had that kind of feeling for her, and like that sisterly kind of thing, and just seeing her struggle, and I've watched it vicariously through social media. She lives a state away, no longer in California where I live, but just in talking every now and then with her, it's just it's sad to see that people don't fully understand why it's happening. And that's my passion. That's all I want to do is to, of course, as I've said before, we teach best what we most need to learn. And I need to learn this too. And I love talking about it because as I'm talking about it, what's happening? I'm stepping into a certain vibrational frequency. I'm excited. I'm excitable. I feel good. All this positive energy is channeling through me. So the more I can put myself in the vibration of this information, this knowledge, this wisdom, the more I'm living there. It's the forefront of my thought. I'm not slipping back into sleepwalking and forgetting that I'm the one creating everything with my vibration. And so that's the main reason I want to do this. That's the main reason for this podcast. It's selfish most of all. I mean, yes, I want to help people, but you got to help yourself first and foremost. And that's really what this is about. I'm reminding myself as much as I'm reminding anyone that's out there listening.
Right. But we don't want to in any way sort of minimize what's going on with someone who's struggling with this with being positive, because we relate to it up to a point, and yet we can't fully go there. Not when we know what we know.
Well, once you've gotten to a certain point in understanding and comprehension of this information, it's hard to kind of. I can only stay. Feeling sorry for myself, shorter and shorter intervals.
Right. Well, that's the thing that I got. Excuse me, out of what you were saying. And I can relate, of course, a lot to what was being said in that post on social media by this person. I am someone who struggled with this in years past, but I've always also had a very sort of staunchly optimistic side to myself, right? And I think that's, I know it's what's gotten me through a lot of the, harder times in my own life. But it's taken me, years to see how for sure, my feelings were attracting so much of what I was finding as reasons to feel bad. So it was for sure a vicious cycle, a vicious circle. I was feeding the negativity, then observing it, feeling bad because of it, and as a consequence, intensifying its charge, creating more of it.
Right. So
I got so much of what you just said when at one point you said, you don't understand when you don't see this, what I'm talking about, but I did get... and you said it later that you don't see when you're creating this negative expression that you don't want in your life. You're just not seeing what you're doing.
Right.
So at that point, you're lost.
Right.
And that's the thing that you don't realize at the time, because you don't ever want to feel bad. The majority of people don't want to consciously feel bad. What we do is we find reasons to feel bad because we think that that's somehow what needs to happen. We believe that we either don't deserve happiness, or this bad thing happened because we are unworthy, we are bad, whatever.
It's where they're focusing attention. Right. If you don't like what's happened to you, give it as little attention as possible and find something radically be radical. Gratitude is the gift to bring you out.
Right. But when you're not seeing that,
and it's hard at times,
There's no question that it's sort of in our own individual challenge. We all struggle with it in our own way. But once you really clearly begin to see how it is that you're attracting that by the way that you feel and the thoughts that invites, and how those two feed each other, and how that feeds into other things, and how that attracts more of it, then if you have that recognition, then you can maybe finally begin to change that whole dynamic.
That's the key, is understanding how it all works. And if you can just stop for a minute, just stop. And, actually I talked about the Oprah story the other day because it was so inspiring when I watched it. And one of the things she talked about in her story was, I forget the whole context of why she was mentioning it, but a young boy who was on his deathbed, and his mother was holding him in his arms as he took his last breaths. And the last thing he kind of said was, "Oh, wow, it's actually so simple." And it was really powerful and very impactful to Oprah, which is why she said it. And like what the takeaway for her is this life, it's actually so simple when you can really see it. And in his last dying breath, it's like it was all comprehension explosion. It's all so simple. And we've made it so complex by reacting to our own creations. Stop reacting to your own creations. Instead, draw a line in the sand and start creating something new. And that starts, and people think, how do I get there? Just with your vibration, find things to be grateful for. Just focus on that. And all of a sudden you'll see reflections in your physical life show up that mirror that vibration, and it'll be good, and you'll like it, and it's what you'll want to see more of. And then you'll get used to that, and then you'll expect more of that. The domino effect, you see, it works either direction because you're creating it, your reality. So if something shows up, and there's proof that I'm poor. See, I know I'm poor, so I'm offering that vibration. I'm just sending out signals to the universe. I'm poor. I'm down. I'm hurt. I'm whatever. So guess what? More comes. The more that comes, it stacks on itself. And you've got more proof. So you believe it even more. More conviction in your vibration. But that works the opposite direction. Radical gratitude just for the simplest, smallest things in your life. Find the beauty, and all of a sudden you attract more beauty. Now there's more beauty, so I'm focusing on that. Now by focusing on that, I'm calling forth more. So it goes both directions. And if you can just, if this girl that I'm talking about and using as this, wonderful example, or any of you out there listening that can relate to this, if you can just get it going in the other direction, you will be, even, one of my favorite teachers I've talked about before, Esther Hicks, talks about this. Even if you can just get neutral with your vibration, let the universe take care of the rest. Yes. But it's this resistant, negative vibe that's keeping you locked down.
She's so great. I've seen, I think, quite a few videos of hers already on YouTube, but of course of different workshops and seminars and whatnot, cruises, what the events that are organized by them. But she's so great, and Abraham Hicks, of course, is so great because they have that, which I have to just make a quick reference to what you were saying a bit earlier about stopping once you're so charged up with this negative attraction, this negative point of attraction. You are so there's this momentum of negative energy that, makes it hard for you to really just stop, right? Mm-hmm. But that's exactly what you need to do, is just try and cut that off any way you can. Stop feeding that momentum so that you can begin reversing that momentum, right. Like you were saying, swing the other way, go in the opposite direction. But, I just have to laugh because I think of the way you said it, it made me think of that thing that I don't think you like so much, that Arnold, stop it, stop. But it's something that it makes me laugh. I had a coworker who got that in my head.
Your Arnold stop impression?
Yeah, a little bit of something like that.
Dalien pops out with that about, I don't know, 3-4 times a day?
I'll throw it out whenever appropriate. I'd like to think. But no, it makes me laugh. But it's something that has helped me before whenever, I'd worked a, job serving, waiting on tables, for example, right? Where it's easy for me to start getting a little riled up by silly things or, let the stress of the job get to me. Mm-hmm. And, it may sound like a trivial example, but I think it really applies to everything. When you can use something kind of silly like that, but that will effectively help you snap out of it.
Yeah.
Something that the positive head bracelet helps you
do. Yeah, exactly. That's
what
the whole concept with that was. It's just a simple little tool. I don't care what it is. Carry a hammer in your pocket.
It really is simple,
or
though,
imitate Arnold Schwarzenegger. Whatever it takes, to help yourself to just snap out of it. And I think that's important. And once you get going in the right direction, then it becomes easy to be, an eternal optimist kind of thing, which is I've been accused of before. And that's like a great compliment, to say. And not that I don't have negative moments, because I definitely do. But all in all, it's like I'm looking for the glass is half full, the glass is half full. And my life gets better and better and better and better the more I do it. So anyway, that was quite the rant there to get things going. Yeah. We should move along, though, because we don't have too long. I try to make these daily podcasts a little shorter than the interviews. Dalien, what you got for us?
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know. They're getting a little longer each day. Dalien, what is, you got something for us? Good, positive story of the day.
And now, for your positive story of the day.
All right, there we go. So we're into the positive story of the day. Yes, I have one really cool one regarding something that was done in San Francisco school, Visitación Valley Middle School. They implemented a meditation program, and this story that I'm reading here on inhabitats.com is the source of the story. But yes,
okay.
So it makes a quick reference to other similar stories which we've heard through the years of schools, particularly troubled schools, implementing, for example, a different lunch program, right? Trying to feed the kids healthier meals. Mm-hmm. It makes a reference to yoga programs that have been implemented, and these have proven successful before, but this is the first school that's implemented a meditation program for their students. And predictably, it's helped them improve their happiness level. Wow. Students say they're happier now, and their academic performance shows it as well.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, any study that's ever been done on meditation is always just like incredible results. If anyone still needs convincing, they're just not looking, because it is proven time and time and time again to just radically change people that participate. And it is, and of course it can be hard to do. You hear people complain about it. I know I have, being as spazzy as I can be, it's hard to quiet my mind and so forth sometimes, but I think even just the intention to do it, just to sit down and be with yourself and relax and go within. I think, no matter how, it's a success, just going there, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes people feel like, they've got to achieve some great thing. Well, I didn't achieve some great enlightenment or experience that I should be as a successful meditator. No, it's not even like that. Just set the intention, and that's enough. Right. Just go sit alone, go within, focus on your breathing for a few minutes a day, and that's enough.
I agree.
And that's a great place to start. And of course, you can get better and better with time,
That's my point of view. I think that's also one of our favorite teachers' points of view, Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
I believe he basically looks at it that way, where any sort of chink in your ego armor that you can use to open up, wider the hole, to tear the wall down. Like you said, any amount of meditation you can do, even if it's 5-10 minutes a day, even if it's 5 minutes a week, it's going to help you get there. It's going to create that opening. That's going to help loosen the ego structures and open you up to a more, naturally happier, vibrant being. So makes sense to me.
Absolutely. Well, all right, everyone. Now it's time for our positive pondering breakdown of the day. And I have Ponzi here with me to actually read off the positive pondering quote that he chose for the day. He's a regular writer on Positive Head. And so I wanted to invite him on and have him give the breakdown himself live and direct. Hello, Mr. Ponzi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Ponzi and I are longtime collaborators. We are actually working on a book together that is, 95% completed?
Yep.
And you're just waiting on me to finish it, right?
Well, I understand inspiration and genius like yours takes some time.
Yeah, that's what we'll attribute it to. Inspiration and genius. That's it. Yeah, so the book, you guys may have heard me reference it before, The Fountain of You, and it is basically how the marriage of science and spirituality is birthing us into the age of timelessness. So it's going to be a good one and worth the wait, and we've been working on it for a while now, and hopefully you'll be hearing some exciting news about that sooner than later.
For sure.
If Ponzi can get better at motivating me to complete it, then you'll hear about it soon.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly. Well, without further ado, break it down for us.
Thank you. So this is the quote. When you find an arrow sticking out of the side of your body, you don't argue about where it came from or which craftsman fashioned it. You simply pull it out. And that is a famous saying from the Buddha. Now, here's my one-sentence interpretation. We can obsess and ruminate on the root causes of many of our fears and syndromes, like, I'm afraid of affection because my dad never helped me, or my mother criticized me too much growing up, so I have self-esteem issues, and so forth. We then make our focus the blaming of our mother and father, and not the actual solving of our issues, aka the arrow in our side, and thus we never truly heal. Now, this quote fascinates me for its simultaneous complexity, simplicity, profundity, and the fact that I feel it's actually kind of funny and a bit tricky. Why is it tricky? Well, because of my limited experience on this planet with self-growth work, I know that a crucial component in healing is often to openly, honestly, and with courageous vulnerability, dig deep and discover the roots of any emotional, spiritual affliction so that you can begin to work on it. Sometimes we refuse to even acknowledge there's an arrow in our side or chest or back at all, preferring to walk with a bloody limp all of our lives because the idea of looking down and admitting that we are wounded seems far worse. Thus, we slowly bleed out, getting worse and worse until we succumb to our wounds. So, first, please acknowledge the arrow and know that we have all been shot with at least one, if not multiple, in our lifetime, and that you are not alone. Assuming, though, that we acknowledge the arrows already, and that this metaphorical arrow is, for example, that I am an angry person because my father beat me as a child and I resent it. A horrible thing. And there isn't a day goes by that you don't think about your father beating you and it makes you angry every day, and thus you are angry every day. What the Buddha says here, in my humble interpretation, is that by dwelling on your father's beatings, you, and many of us in similar situations, are focusing on who shot the arrow, not the arrow itself. So while your metaphorical chest beats bloody with an angry arrow, you are shouting at your arrow-shooting father instead of taking out the arrow first, in this case, your anger. Yet no matter how much you shout, curse, scream, or blame your father, it does not change the fact that you have an arrow sticking out of your chest and that you want it gone. Believe me, I have done this plenty of times myself most of my life, and as hard as you shout, it does not go away. So what to do? As Albert Einstein says, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. Thus, you being angry at your father for being angry himself and thus beating you out of anger does not solve your own anger issues. What you can do is examine that arrow of anger. Recognize that it did not come from the beautiful place inside you, that it is wounding you and that you need to pull it out to be a more free and healthy human being. So how do you pull it out? There are many ways depending on the problem, but for sure, many powerful antidotes would be more self-love, compassion, empathy, giving, gifting, being kind, and doing something nice for others. So, for example, if you have low self-esteem about your personal appearance, instead of being upset at your critical mother, go to girls that were around your age, or any woman or person of any age, and tell them how beautiful they are. If you feel like you have affection issues because your parents never hugged you, then you guessed it, go out and hug as many people as you can. Performing actions like these is the equivalent of pulling out your arrows. Then with time, after you are finally free of the arrow, then perhaps you can look out and meet the perpetrator, but you will not be looking at them with the wounded eyes and heart of the past, but with a liberated and healthy soul that may even change the heart of he or she that shot at you. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
That would definitely be beautiful. Very well broken down there, Ponzi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just, it's so great, actually, that I love the synchronicity of this particular, positive pondering for the day. And it seems like these things are happening more and more. I had chosen to talk a little bit about a friend's posting, that I'd seen online on Facebook and her struggles and so forth. And it's so reflective of this exact thing that you randomly chose. Today's the day that you had agreed to do a quote and breakdown. And, I didn't see this until a few minutes ago. And it's like, wow, how perfect is this? The timing, because it goes so perfectly with what I've already been talking about in the show and this particular episode. It's so easy to focus on being a victim and victim mentality and from a certain perspective, yeah, you're totally right. These things were done to you and they were unjust and all this sort of thing. But the problem that so few people realize is that's keeping you locked into the trauma. That's keeping you locked into the spot of stagnation when you focus on this. And if you instead can, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, as, one of my favorite quotes by Wayne Dyer. And exactly that, if you can look at the awful thing that happened to you as something, just consider the idea that maybe this is something that happened to you for a reason, that your higher self is actually put in place in your path so that you can have the opportunity to forgive and overcome and move beyond and grow because of it. The Japanese, have you ever seen it? What the Japanese do when they break a piece of china?
No.
By any chance? Yeah, they take and they'll, it's a old tradition where they'll take and actually use gold or silver or something and mend it. So it becomes, they believe it makes if it's a nice piece of china, you'll see it with this big sliver of gold in the middle of it that's kind of been used to put it back together. And their belief is it makes it more beautiful as a result. And it's a great analogy of what we're talking about here.
That's beautiful.
Apply that to yourself. And instead of holding the arrow and actually digging it in deeper, look at what's happening and has happened to you as an opportunity to overcome and to become more golden, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's all beautiful. And I think so many of us, when we get shot, we're like, who did that? And we're so upset, we're so upset and so traumatized, and understandably so. It's not to demean or limit anything, especially sometimes these come from people very close to us. And yet it is just
and very traumatic things,
very traumatic. And so I think there's probably, no matter what, an initial shock of it even happening before you realize what's going on. But then I think, we do get so focused on who did it that we didn't realize that, we're, as you're saying, we're limiting ourselves and staying in these traumatic states and not just doing our best to take out the arrow and then move on with our lives in a healthier way.
Right. I'm such a believer in the greater one toils for their freedom, the greater the sense of freedom that's achieved. And so, people out there, some of you guys out there listening have probably had things happen that are way more traumatic than I've ever experienced or you've ever experienced, Ponzi. But, those are the people the souls, in my opinion, that are the most brave, the most courageous, the most admirable. Use that awful thing and turn it around into becoming something that makes you so strong and so beautiful and shine so brightly. And I believe so strongly that if you can do that, and you can stop worrying about who did what to you and holding that anger and releasing it and believing, having faith that it has happened for some reason in your life, you will transmute all that anger into power. And then you'll see in your life as you move forward actually why it happened. And a lot of times these people that have had traumatic things happen end up helping others who've been through the same thing. And you can't really help someone else with some of these things. You have to kind of go through it yourself, right? And to fully appreciate what someone else is going through. And I think oftentimes you hear stories and that's exactly what it is, right? The person went through this traumatic thing. Years later, they're helping many others that have went through the same sort of thing. And what a beautiful, soul's journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Ponzi, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on today's podcast, and we'll have to have you back again soon. You guys can check out his website. It's ponzidream.co, right? Yeah. All kinds of amazing poetry and video, and he's a man of many talents. So check it out. You'll definitely find some inspiration there.
Thank you, Conley. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
let's see. What else do we want to cover on today's podcast? Well, I was sharing with you guys yesterday. We want to kind of let you guys follow along as the podcast grows. Those of you that are supporting us here in our, first 6 months. I think it's been about 6 months since we started, and now with the dailies, that's only been a couple weeks. So those of you that are tuning in and supporting, we really appreciate your support. And so one of the things as we experiment with what to cover on these daily podcasts that I was thinking is, hey, we should, kind of, as we're following the growth, allow you guys to follow along with us. So yesterday, I think we had 304 downloads. Today awesome. 2 days ago, 304. Yesterday, it was 286. So about the same, getting pretty close. So like I mentioned, the intention I'm putting out to the universe and all of you is to take that from, the 300 a day to 30,000 a day. That's where all the biggest podcasts are at. And, it's something that I know that we can manifest together. And I definitely appreciate those of you that are out there spreading the word and helping us to spread the positivity by telling your friends and family. I've had some friends, tagging me online and stuff in recent days, kind of spreading it. And it's so appreciated because we are putting in a lot of hard work, and, it's a labor of love at the end of the day. So if it stayed right where it is now, I would do it for sure because it's not about getting an end result, but it is nice to have a goal and an aim to reach more people and set that intention. Like we talked about yesterday, set the intention, put it out there, and then release, then surrender. You don't need it to happen, but you want it to happen. And that's the difference in what I found in creating, that fine line in the art of manifestation, as I like to call it. So yeah, that's where we're at with our listen count. The other thing is we had thrown out to you guys, if you have someone, we won't give you a positive head bracelet for free, but if you have someone like this person is a great example, I'm going to offer her one that I just, read her post and everything. Great example of someone that I would just like to gift one to. And if you have someone out there that you think would appreciate it and it would help a little bit, write in, through positivehead.com, let us know. Just give us a little paragraph about their story or what have you, and why you think we should consider gifting them a bracelet. And we'll take one, every day or so. And my intention with these sitting here in a box, people are buying them. You can actually name your price on the website. You can pay as little as our cost, which is $2.97. So, my intention is to spread the positivity at all cost, which is why you can name your price. But at the same time, I want more of them out there quicker. So if you have someone that you think would really appreciate the gesture, you tell us a little bit about them, and we'll take it into consideration, gifting them one. Also, any questions that you guys have through the site, please let us know as well. We'll address on the show. Or it's just, like I said before, hey, what do you guys think about this? As simple as that. We want to interact with you. So, please don't be shy, right? Drop us a line. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? And if we like what you're asking us to think about, we may discuss it on the next podcast. So
I think that we've already sort of opened the door a little bit to the fact that there's really nothing that we really won't discuss if we think it's worthy of bringing up, right? I mean, if you want to talk about a little more thorny personal issue, you don't have to, of course, give out any sensitive information. But like your story that you told earlier, I love hearing about things that are more real, really.
Me too. That's exactly. I want to get as raw and real as possible. I'm actually going to reach out to this girl and see if she would possibly come on the podcast and we can talk openly, and you guys can all kind of see her responses and see how it goes. Because
I think I inferred who you were referring to when you told the story. I'd love to hear about this from this person, of course.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. See if she gets back and she's comfortable with that. I don't know. But I really respect the fact that she even put that out there to the world like that. And, here now we're using it as a tool to try and, help other people, because how many people listening can relate in some way to this girl. All of us can. So yeah, well, we're getting down to it here. Last thing I'll just throw out. Yeah, please, guys, rate us on iTunes, share, let your friends, family know. I already mentioned that. Appreciate all of you that have been doing that. That is very, very helpful and appreciated. So thank you so much for the support. Let's see. Other than that, I think that's going to be pretty much it for today. Oh, yeah. One last thing before we go. I've had several people suggest, as I've went out and talked to different friends and so forth about, hey, what suggestions that you have for the daily podcast format. And one of the things that has been thrown out a few times that I was thinking as well, we should start including some music in each podcast, maybe as the outro. So that way, if you want to listen, you can listen along. So we're going to start that today. We're going to try that out. My friend Stefan Jacobs is a producer. And let's see, we are going to, there's a bunch of good songs. How about, today we'll leave you with Dirt Monkey and Stefan Jacobs. It's called Sleepless in LA.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was premiered on EDM.com not too long ago. So yeah, I'll leave you with a little bit of music, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, as always. And remember, as long as you ain't dead, you're already positive ahead. Be well, everyone.
Hollywood.